You are listening to the So Now What podcast with Lana Manikowski, episode number 143.
So now what? These three words raced through my mind time and time again during my journey through fertility treatments. I tried desperately to have a child, but never was able. I yearned for a community to join that could understand my struggles. I couldn't find one, so I created one with the So Now What podcast. I love that you found us.
Welcome back to the So Now What podcast. I'm glad that you're here with me today. This episode is especially though for those of you who are doing something that is all too familiar, the habit of comparing your life to those of your friends, your families, maybe even your coworkers that have children. So it's a natural response, right? You scroll through social media and there are pictures of birthday parties, family vacations, back to school, prom, weddings, all those heartwarming moments that come with motherhood. And it's easy to feel that pang of comparison and that nagging thought of, what if that was my life? And you might find yourself thinking about the milestones that you anticipated, helping with homework, going to soccer games, taking kids to practice, maybe being a grandmother one day. And each of those pictures reminds you of the dreams that you had that seem to slip further away. But let's take a moment to just first normalize this feeling, okay? You are not alone in these thoughts. Many women who are childless after infertility feel this way. And it's okay to acknowledge that there is sadness and grief that accompany these comparisons. But here's what I want to offer you if you are wanting to shift your perspective. So, of course, it's normal to feel this way. And we know that living in comparison is not helpful, because if it was, you would be feeling much better about where your life is without children than you do when you are seeing these pictures and comparing your life to those who do. But it can have you like trapped in this cycle of feeling like you are constantly missing out, when in fact, there is so much potential for you to create a life that has meaning and joy right now. So, in my Thrive After Infertility Mastermind, you've heard me talk about this before, but I teach three key pillars that will help women to learn how to thrive and feel fulfilled without the children that they always dreamed of. So, today I'm going to talk you through these pillars and help you imagine a time when you wake up each day with a deep sense of purpose. And when comparison is no longer the thing that rules your thoughts, and your life feels vibrant and meaningful in its own right. I mean, doesn't that sound beautiful? So, the first pillar that I want to focus on is your body image. For so many of us women who are childless after infertility, we become disconnected from our bodies. You might even feel that you are in this war with your body. I talked about that just a few weeks ago on the podcast, and that you blame your body for not being able to do the one thing that you expected it to do, to have a child. That can be extremely painful. But what if you stopped comparing? What if you began to see your body as more than this vessel to create life? Like, I want you to just imagine what it would be like to wake up in the morning no longer feeling like your body failed you. And when you look in the mirror, you feel freedom and you feel as though you are connected to this body, this thing that allows you to do so many amazing things each day, this thing that gives you strength to stand on your legs, gets you to the gym, drives your car, gets you to work. Your brain is part of your body, one of the most important parts of your body. And like, think about this brain that takes you through so many different aspects of life, and learn how to lean into those things. Because if you are buying into this narrative that tells you that your body didn't do what it was supposed to do and comparing it to those women who've had children, this is a losing game. Okay. You've got to let go of this narrative that your body has to be able to produce a child to be worthy. Imagine what it would be like to reconnect with that body in a way that brings you joy and energy. And maybe it's trying a new workout. Maybe it's yoga, Pilates, something that you can do that is not punishing your body anymore, but you're celebrating it and you're appreciating the strength that it brings you to experience your life. All right. The second pillar that we focus on in the mastermind is owning your time. Okay. One of the hardest parts about being childless after infertility is this blank canvas of what your future is going to be like. You know, you just always thought that there was going to be these milestones of motherhood, like your kids graduating, having them get married, them having babies, whatever the milestones are. We always thought that our life was going to go in sync with those. So it's easy to feel lost when you don't have that milestone to keep trending with because motherhood is not part of your life. But what if that blank canvas is actually an opportunity, an amazing opportunity where you would wake up every morning excited about what your day holds, not because you're checking off somebody else's milestones and what your girlfriends have going on, tailgating and mom's weekend in college with their kids this weekend, but because you are creating your own, okay? Like the ability you have to pursue passions and create your own milestones in your life, whether that's going back and studying something different than you had studied before, pursuing a new venture, accelerating in a job, connecting to a hobby or some sort of passion that you have been able to explore, maybe mentoring younger children or women or volunteering for causes that you care deeply about, but knowing that you don't have to compare the milestones that you are creating to that of women with children because your days are filled with purpose, not because you're raising a child, but because you are investing in things that actually light you up. You're waking up with this clear sense of direction, knowing that your life is meaningful because you are creating the meaning. You're no longer waiting for this external milestone to validate your worth. You're cultivating a life of fulfillment that is uniquely yours. And so what does that look like for you? Like, what are the things that have brought you joy? Where are you when you are feeling most peaceful and feeling like things are easy? It might be art, it might be involvement in your community, embracing a slower pace and not being the workaholic that you've turned to being since you realized that you couldn't become a mom. But imagine the days that you no longer feel like you are on the sidelines of your own life because you are actively shaping a future that excites you. And then finally, my third pillar is reconnecting in your relationships, especially that with your husband or your partner, but also with friends that have kids, maybe family that have kids, maybe it's colleagues at work who always have these kids things that they're talking about. And when you're childless, you have constantly become used to proving that you belong, especially among these friends that have children. You might feel like you're always the one putting in the effort, the one to be expected to stay late at work or work the weekends because you don't have the kids to run home to, or the one that's always the organizer and the one who's flexible around everybody else's schedule because they have their kids to worry about and their schedules are unknown. What if you let go of that comparison and focused on building relationships that matter? Imagine waking up in the morning and knowing that you're deeply connected to the people in your life. Not because you guys have cookie cutter lives where you're sharing the same experiences of motherhood, but because you share meaningful and common interests. Maybe you share memories in common that keep you bonded. Maybe it's people or family that keep you bonded. And you no longer have to feel like you are the friend or the family member who has to be the one to invest extra time in that relationship to stay relevant. Instead, you're feeling fulfilled by these friendships or those connections. And there's no comparison being made because that's just how it is. You like spending time with these people. So it's not a checklist of who called you last, who remembered your birthday last, whose kid sent you a thank you card for a gift that you sent them. When it comes to your husband or your partner, imagine feeling so connected because your marriage feels fulfilling. You're not worried that your relationship is going to suffer without children, but instead, you and your partner are creating a life that feels rich and full in its own way. And you're going on adventures and you're building new traditions and leaning into the love that you share, knowing that your connection is strong and it's fulfilling without the need of children to validate it or be the thing that keeps you together in this relationship. As you listen today, I just want to encourage you to imagine this life for yourself, a life where you wake up each day without that weight of comparison. And instead, you feel light, purposeful, and you feel free. You're connected with your body. You're connected to this future that feels like you have meaning and joy, and you're nurturing relationships that matter deeply to you. This is not a consolation prize. This joy that you feel and this ease that you are thinking about feeling in your life does not have to feel like a consolation prize because you could not have the children that you dreamed of. This glorious life is one that you deserve, and it's full of fulfillment and in beauty and ease in so many ways that you might not have even thought possible. So, if you are ready to start thriving in this life, I would love for you to join me in the Thrive After Infertility Mastermind. My next class is starting in just a few weeks. We'll work through these three core areas and anything else that you feel like has you continuously going to this place of comparison of your life so that you can create a life that you love even though it doesn't have the children that you dreamed of. If you want to know how to get started and Thrive, I will put a link to a 45-minute Thrive call. It is a free call that you can schedule with me so that we can decide is what you are looking for something that I can offer you on Thrive. My guess is it probably will be because of this countless women that I have helped navigate the unexpected life of being childless after infertility. So I will put a link to the call right here in the show notes. Schedule your free 45-minute call, and then we'll decide if Thrive After Infertility is right for you. So I hope that you have a beautiful week. I love you. And remember that it's never too late to discover your meaning. I'll talk to you next week.
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to tell you about an awesome resource I created. If you have ever found yourself in conversations with people, or maybe people offering you suggestions about what you should do to become a mom, it's called the Top 27 Things People Say When You're Childless and How to Respond. You can get your copy free at lanamanikowski.com/things people say.